Good evening. My name is Alex Roche, and tonight I will be talking about the decriminalization of drugs in the United States. Not the legalization, meaning we wouldn't make every drug in the United States legal. However, we wouldn't chase the people that possess or consume drugs criminally, but socially, to making the problem a public health problem rather than a criminal one. The general purpose of this is to inform about the decriminalization of drugs as an option to the failed war on drugs, in which America has pioneered and been unsuccessful. By the end of my speech, the audience will know that the decriminalization of controlled substances, aka street drugs, will decrease the consumption and end black markets in which these controlled substances are bought and sold. I want to share a quote with you guys from the Huffington Post. It says, despite an increased emphasis on treatment and prevention programs in recent years, the Obama administration in its 2013 budget still requested 25.6 billion in federal spending on the drug war. Of that, 15 billion would go to law enforcement, interdiction, and international efforts. Um, the war on drugs in the United States would decrease the decriminalization of drugs in the United States would decrease the amount of taxpayers' money to maintain these nonviolent criminals in jail or prison, and would effectively reduce the size or completely wipe out the black markets for these drugs. The main points now are going to be America's elevated number of drug-related inmates. Second, the decriminalization of all drugs in Portugal, which is a very good example. And finally, the other example is the Netherlands, which has decriminalized some drugs and encouraged to see drug problems as a public health issue rather than a criminal one. So first of all, America has more prisoners than any other country in the world, and half are drug related. According to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the U.S. has recorded 85,353 inmates with drug related offenses, followed by weapons, explosives, and arsons offenses with only 31,088 inmates compared to the 85,000. This information makes drug-related inmates take up 46.5% of United States federal prisons, which is terrible. On the other hand, Portugal is a good example. The decriminalization of all drugs in Portugal in 2001 has decreased drug overdoses, and levels of consumption have also decreased in that country. This means that while it's no longer a criminal offense to possess drugs for personal use, it is still an administrative violation, punishable by penalties such as fines or community service. HIV infections and drug-related deaths have also decreased. Portugal focused on expanding and improving prevention treatment and social reintegration programs rather than incarcerating like the United States. Another example in the European Union is the Netherlands. The Netherlands has decriminalized some drugs and encouraged to see drug problems as a public health issue rather than a criminal one. 19 prisons in the Netherlands will be shut down this year due to declining crime rates, and others are being used to shelter Syrian refugees. There is a huge problem with Syrian refugees now that the Syrian civil war is still at its peak, and the Netherlands has been very good at taking these people in. In the Netherlands, this has also saved about $50,000 per year, about 50 million saved per year for every 1,000 people. And I want to leave you guys with a quote. It says, federal and state laws should be changed to no longer make it a crime to possess marijuana for private use. And that was our United States President, Richard Nixon. And he wasn't the only president to think this way. Along him was also, for example, Jimmy Carter. So I encourage all of you guys to consider the decriminalization of drugs. Thank you.